Assalamu alaikum grade 6 students. Today you'll be reading novel chapter 5. Let's see the first paragraph on page number 21. After failing to find the missing crew, the family turned its attention to saving the animals on the ship. They built a small raft and they called it Deliverance. It was just large enough to fit the pastor, Fritz, and hungry Nips, who had nothing to eat since losing its mother. "Don't worry, Nips," whispered Fritz. "We'll get you some milk." As soon as they got on the ship, Fritz kept his promise to the thirsty little monkey. The pastor looked on, smiling, as it drank from the goat. "Well, that takes care of Nips," he said. "But what about the other animals? How can we take them to the island?" "Wouldn't it be wonderful if they could all just swim across?" wondered Fritz. They thought about it for a while and then came up with an idea. 2 casks were placed on each side of each animal. "What fine life jackets!" said the pastor, before dropping the animals into the sea one by one. The creatures floated up and down in the water. First paragraph on page number 22. "I never thought I'd ever see something like this," said Fritz. "I bet the animals did not expect it either," said the pastor, and began to paddle as Fritz pulled the floating animals with a rope. The cow, the donkey, the goats, the sheep all seemed to be enjoying the cool sea water and followed obediently. All of a sudden, the boy pointed to the sea. "We're lost!" he screamed. "A shark!" The shark's fin could be seen circling the water, cutting through the waves like a sharp knife. It was quickly approaching the sheep. "Don't panic, Fritz," the pastor said. "Let's both shoot when it is close enough." Fritz lifted his gun and waited. At his father's signal, they both aimed and fired. "Good!" cheered his father. The sea was painted red with the blood of the creature, and then the wounded shark swam away, leaving a red trail behind. "Do you think it will come back, father?" asked Fritz. The pastor shrugged, but to be on safe side, they returned to the beach without wasting time. They relaxed only when they finally stepped on land and were reunited with Elizabeth and the rest of the family. There were hugs and cheers and plenty of amusement as the cow, donkey, goats, and 6 sheep walked out of the sea as though this was the most natural thing in the world. The younger boys laughed wildly at the sight, while the animals also looked happy now that they were finally on land. Once the happy reunion was over, Jack shared a surprise. "Look what I made!" he said proudly, pointing to the belt he had created using animal skin. "It looks great. How did you make it?" asked Fritz. "Mother had packed a needle and thread in her magic bag," answered Jack. There were more surprises at dinner. The main course was turtle eggs. "I found them on the beach. They are just like the ones Robinson Crusoe found on his island," said Ernest. There are hundreds of them, and they taste delicious." Then Elizabeth told her husband that deeper in the forest she had found a spot with beautiful tall trees. Let's go there and make a tree house, she said. Wouldn't it be fine to live so high up? We are not birds, my dear, laughed the pastor. How will we get up? Do you remember a house that was built in the large tree near our house in Switzerland? Asked Elizabeth. Do you remember how beautiful it was? Can you make stairs like the ones it had? It would be nice to sleep without worrying about jackals or any other dangerous animal. The pastor could not refuse his wife, so the next morning he set to work. He made a ladder using wood and ropes so that it could be pulled up at night. The boys also had to make a bridge from the tent house to the tree house. The whole family worked hard for many days, but in the end, they managed to build a large and comfortable house in the tree. When it was finished, they congratulated each other. Hooray, hooray for our wonderful nest! Hooray, hooray for our wonderful nest! Exclaimed Jack. What a great house we will have up here! Now let's solve some parts of the exercises given at the end on page number 52. Complete the summary of the chapter 5 with sentences A to E. After having searched for the missing crew with no success, the family decided to save the animals on the ship. For that reason, they built a raft which they called Deliverance. Dash. So what will be used in place? Number 1. Dash, their little Nips was able to drink milk from a goat. Here are the options. Then Jack showed Fritz and his father the leather belt he had made. This is not a suitable sentence in between in the blanks. Let's see the B1 now. They got to the island and all the family were very happy that they had managed to save all the animals. Well, it is also unrelated. Let's see the C part. They decided to make a tree house. Neither this. There was a shark circling the water. It will also not fit in between there. Let's see the eat part. The pastor took Fritz and the hungry monkey along with him and they all got to the ship on the raft. That is what actually happened. So E part is correct. This is how you're supposed to write your answer. Their little Nips was able to drink milk from a goat. Then they used casks as life jackets so that the animals could float. Suddenly, Fritz pointed to the sea, very frightened. Now, what do you think? Which option best suits there? Then Jack showed Fritz and his father A, B, C, D or E part is best suitable between these sentences. So D part is correct one. Let's see the D part again. There was a shark circling the water. So when they were coming back with the animals floating in the sea, they actually saw the shark. So this is how you're supposed to fill in the blanks with the letters of the statements in exercise 1. and hence complete the summary. Now let's see exercise number 2. Answer the following questions. How did the pastor and his son manage to bring the animals to the island? They brought them on the island with floating casks. So this is the answer. You're supposed to write on page number 52, exercise number 2. What did Fritz and Pastor do when they saw the shark? What do you think they did? They shot it with their guns. This is how you are supposed to give answers to these questions. Now let's see exercise number 3. Choose the correct word to complete the following sentences. Kate and Courtney were whispering or wondering in the corner so that nobody could hear them. So they were whispering. Now let's see the second part. Yesterday, Henry and I used my father's canoe and paddled as far as the opposite island. So we paddled. By paddling, we moved from one place to another. This is how you're supposed to find the rest of the answers yourself. Do take help from the dictionary if ever you need it. Now let's see exercise number 4. Find opposites of the words below in chapter 5. Awful, horrible. So wonderful is actually opposite of horrible and awful. Let's see the second part. Far away, dash. So what would be the opposite of far away? Closer to or nearby. This is how you're supposed to write the opposites of each word given in exercise 4. Now let's see your home assignment. Well, students, you are supposed to solve exercise 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the book at the end of the book. Alright students, until the next lecture, take care, goodbye, Allah Hafiz.